We shall discuss the next topic. We want to derive an expression for kinetic energy of rotation. In the case of linear motion, kinetic energy of a particle is given by half m square. That is actually applicable for translator motion or linear motion. Since here we are discussing about the rotatory motion, we want to find out a similar type of expression of our kinetic energy, and that is what we call it as the kinetic energy of rotation. Okay. So in order to understand the expression for kinetic energy of rotation, tumba simple agide idu. Okay. So let me go back to the same old diagram. There is one diagram yesterday I showed while we discussed about expression for the moment of inertia. Okay. So this is our rigid body. The same diagram reference ತಗೋತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Diagram ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ. So this is our rigid body. So xy is the axis of rotation of the rigid body, and it is rotating with an angular velocity omega. The rigid body is consisting of many number of particles. Okay. For example, first particle having mass m1, second particle having mass m2, third particle having mass m3, fourth particle having mass m4, and so on. Okay. And the distances of the particles from the axis of rotation. For example, for the first particle, the distance is r1. For the second particle, the distance is r2. So for the third particle, the distance is r3. And for the fourth particle, the distance is r4. Okay. And please remember, all the particles of the rigid body, they are also having linear velocity. The particles of the rigid body would be having both angular velocity as well as linear velocity. So yesterday I told angular velocity is common for all the particles, whereas linear velocity is different. Okay. If the distance of the particle from the axis of rotation is more, then their linear velocity is also more, because we know the relation v is equal to r omega. So therefore, for the first particle m1, so the linear velocity is v1, second particle it is v2, for the third particle v3, and so on. Okay. Follow ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are considering a rigid body, and we are assuming the rigid body is rotating with angular velocity omega with respect to a certain axis of rotation. We are dividing the rigid body into large number of particles having masses m1, m2, m3, and we are assuming their distances from the axis of rotation r1, r2, r3, and also their linear velocities v1, v2, v3. ಈ slide ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. v1, v2, v3 ಅಂತ velocities, linear velocities. Okay. So now how do we calculate the kinetic energy? It's very simple. Kinetic energy of rotation or the kinetic energy of the rigid body is simply equal to sum of the kinetic energies of all the particles of the rigid body. Okay. Rigid body ಇರೋ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಗಳನ್ನು kinetic energy ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ kinetic energy ಸಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ so total kinetic energy of rotation ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ kinetic energy of the rigid body ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay. So therefore kinetic energy expression is very simple. So total kinetic energy K of the rigid body, capital K, is kinetic energy of the first particle half m1 v1 square plus kinetic energy of the second particle half m2 v2 square plus kinetic energy of the third particle m3 v3 square plus and so on. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so we are using the relation. Yesterday we derived one relation, v is equal to r omega, relationship between linear velocity and angular velocity. I am making use of that expression here. Okay. So for the first particle, linear velocity is v1. So linear velocity v1 is given by r1 omega, because the first particle is at a distance r1 from the axis of rotation. Similarly, linear velocity of the second particle is v2. v2 is given by r2 omega. r2 is the distance of the second particle from the axis of rotation. Similarly, for third particle, the velocity is v3. v3 is equal to r3 omega. So where r3 is the distance of the third particle from the axis of rotation. Okay. ಈ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ v1 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ v2 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ v3 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ r1 omega, r2 omega, r3 omega ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. So that the total kinetic energy K becomes equal to half m1 ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ, v1 ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ r1 omega ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ r1 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ omega ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ plus second term half m2 r2 square omega square plus third term half m3 r3 square omega square and so on. Clear ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್? ತುಂಬಾ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So therefore ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ kinetic energy ಸಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ v is equal to r omega ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಗೆ v1 is equal to r1 omega ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಗೆ r2 omega ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ತರ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, v1 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ v2 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ v3 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ r1 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ omega ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ r2 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ omega ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ in all these terms half is common, omega square is common. So therefore right side ಅಲ್ಲಿ k is equal to half, right side ಅಲ್ಲಿ omega square ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು so m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r square ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r square m3 r3 square etc ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So therefore it is summation I running from 1 to n mi ri square, where I runs from 1 to n. 1 ಹಾಕಿ I is equal to 1 ಹಾಕಿ m1 r1 square ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 2 ಹಾಕಿ plus m2 r2 square ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 3 ಹಾಕಿ m plus m3 r3 square ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Can somebody say what is the summation I running from 1 to n mi ri square?
I.
K.
It is not k, it is I, moment of inertia. Summation is this the standard definition of moment of inertia. ಈ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾನು k ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, k ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಸಮೇಷನ್ mi r square ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಬಟ್ moment of inertia ಅದನ್ನ ತಾನೇ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ. So this is nothing but moment of inertia of the rigid body, capital I. So therefore ಈ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸಮೇಷನ್ mi r square capital I ಹಾಕಬಹುದು. So expression k becomes equal to half I omega square. So this is the last expression, k is equal to half I omega square is the expression for the kinetic energy of rotation of a rigid body. ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ. ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ kinetic energy of a particle half m square ಬರುತ್ತೆ, rotational kinetic energy ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ half I omega square ಬರುತ್ತೆ. m ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ I ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ m ಇತ್ತು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ I ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನರ್ಷಿಯಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ v ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, linear velocity square ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ angular velocity square ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So therefore kinetic energy is equal to half I omega square. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this
Yes,
is
sir.
one. Yes. Now we shall discuss about two theorems. There are two important theorems in your moment of inertia topic. Okay. So these two theorems are called theorems of moment of inertia. Okay. And these two theorems, of course, concept wise they are very important, and of course from your examination point of view also they are very important. State and prove perpendicular axis theorem, state and prove parallel axis theorem anta keltare. Okay, so there are two theorems. Now first one illi bardidini nodi. So the first one is what we call it as theorem of perpendicular axis. Okay, the next one is what we call it as theorem of parallel axis. Okay, so these two theorems, they are called the fundamental theorems of moment of inertia. Okay, so we shall try to understand. So there are two theorems. In the sense we shall try to define first definition ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ proof ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is the first one that we are discussing is theorem of perpendicular axis. Okay, so it is not axis, it is axis. Axis ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲೂರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್, ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಯರಮ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ 3 ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, 3 ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಒಂದು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆಸ್ ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ವೈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್, ಝೆಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಝೆಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಝೆಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ passing through the point O and it is perpendicular to the plane of the diagram. So therefore there are 3 axes: x axis, y axis, z axis. And you know that all the 3 x, y, z, they are mutually perpendicular to each other. That's why this is called the theorem of perpendicular axis. Why it is called the theorem of perpendicular axis? Because all the 3 axes are perpendicular to each other. Okay, x, y, z ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ x, y, z ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಹೆಸರಿಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಒಂದೇ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಹೆಸರಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 3 ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಗಳು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ನಮ್ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಝೆಡ್ ಅಂತ 3 ತಗೋತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಅದೇ ತರನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಝೆಡ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಮಾತ್ರ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಝೆಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ, ಝೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಝೆಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೊ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ಲೇನ್, ನಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಓ ಇಂದ ನಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ z axis. ಓಕೆನಾ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why this is called a theorem of perpendicular axis, because we are going to consider three perpendicular axes. Axis alla axis, adike axis anta hakivi. Okay, now let us come back here. So this is a rigid body. Okay, this is a rigid body. We are going to calculate moment of inertia of the rigid body with respect to x-axis once. We are going to calculate moment of inertia of the rigid body with respect to y-axis once. And we are also going to calculate moment of inertia of the rigid body from the z-axis. Okay, ಈ rigid body ಏನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವೋ ಈ rigid body ಗೆ ನಾವು so moment of inertia calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. First with respect to x-axis calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆಮೇಲೆ with respect to y-axis calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆಮೇಲೆ with respect to z-axis calculation ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay, with respect to x-axis moment of inertia ix ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಮುಂದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. With respect to y-axis moment of inertia I subscript y ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, and with respect to z-axis moment of inertia we shall write it as iz. And theorem of perpendicular axis says that iz is equal to ix plus iy. Ashte, it's very simple. So if ix is moment of inertia with respect to x-axis, if iy is moment of inertia with respect to y-axis, and if iz is moment of inertia with respect to z-axis, so then iz is equal to ix plus iy. This is what the mathematical statement of so your theorem of perpendicular axis. Okay, and this one more thing, this theorem here, perpendicular axis theorem, we are applying for a plane lamina. Definition nodi, moment of inertia of a plane lamina bardidive. So this is usually applied to an object which is in the form of a plane. Okay, three-dimensional object anta tagobardu ee case ge perpendicular axis theorem na discuss madbekare we have to consider two-dimensional object. A two-dimensional object na ನಾವು plane lamina anta ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Plane lamina ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ shape ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇರಲಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ರೆಕ್ಟಾಂಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ shape ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು thickness ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ thickness ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಮಿನಾ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ, ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ?
Yes, sir.
This theorem of perpendicular axis is applicable to plane lamina only. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೂ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ತ್ರೀ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಇದು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಮಿನಾ. ಓಕೆನಾ, ನಾ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಆಗ್ಲೇ iz is equal to ix plus iy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. Moment of inertia of a plane lamina about an axis perpendicular to the plane of the lamina. Okay, about an axis perpendicular to the plane of lamina means here z-axis. Okay, is equal to the sum of the moments of inertia of the lamina about two axes at right angles to each other, x and y ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, in its own plane intersecting each other at the point where the perpendicular axis pass through it. ಅಂದ್ರೆ so x axis ಮತ್ತೆ y axis ಈ plane ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ. X axis is lying on the plane, y axis also is lying on the plane, but please remember z axis not is lying on the plane, it is out of the plane, it is perpendicular to the plane, and all the three directions x axis y axis x direction, y direction, z direction, all the three are meeting at the same point. 3.1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ meet ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Okay, then in the respective case moment of inertia of a plane lamina about an axis perpendicular to the plane of the lamina. Perpendicular to the plane of the lamina means it is iz with respect to z axis. Iz is equal to the sum of the moments of inertia, that is it, ix plus iy. Okay, about the two axes at right angles to each other. Andre so ix and iy are perpendicular to each other. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ so x axis ಮತ್ತೆ y axis perpendicular ಆಗಿದೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ those are the two moments of inertia, ಅದರದ್ದು sum ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Okay, in its own plane ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ x axis ಮತ್ತೆ y axis ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ plane ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. Okay, so and all the three axes are actually meeting at the same point, so the point at which they are meeting is point 2. Okay, it's very simple. With respect to z axis moment of inertia calculate ಮಾಡಿ. With respect to z axis ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ z axis plane of the lamina ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ perpendicular ಆಗಿದೆ, that iz is equal to ix plus iy. What are ix and iy? Ix and iy are nothing but the moment of inertia with respect to x axis and y axis. X axis and y axis are perpendicular to each other, and x axis and y axis actually they are passing through the plane, and x axis and y axis they are all meeting at the same point through which the third axis z axis is also passing. So therefore we can conclude that iz is equal to ix plus iy. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Just a second. Okay, see here. So let OX and OY be two perpendicular axes in the plane of the lamina. Again, ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದೆ ನೋಡಿ. So in the plane of the lamina, IX and IY. So ನೋಡಿ OX ಮತ್ತೆ OY ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತಿವೆ. ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಮಿನಾ ಏನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ. Okay. So OX and OY be two perpendicular axes in the plane of the lamina. Okay. Let M1 be the mass of a particle. So here I am considering one particle. There is a particle P situated in the rigid body. P ಅನ್ನೋ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ P ಅನ್ನೋ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ. So the mass is M1. Okay. And this particle M1 is at a distance of R1 from the origin. So point P ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ origin ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ R1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay. And point P ಗೆ so x coordinate x1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, y coordinate y1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So here ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿದೆ. But you know this perpendicular line, ಈ perpendicular line ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ x axis ಇಂದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಗೆ, so that distance is nothing but y1, and that y1 is nothing but the y coordinate, and x1 is nothing but the x coordinate of the point P. Follow ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
Yes, sir.
So we are considering a point P in the rigid body. Okay, at the point P there is a particle. Mass of the particle is m1, and the distance of the particle at P from the origin is r, and it xy coordinates are x1 and y. So that ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ diagram ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ r1 square is equal to x1 square plus y1 square ಅಲ್ವಾ? So remember, so this particle P, this particle situated at P is at a distance of y1 from the x-axis, and this particle at P is at a distance x1 from the y-axis, and the same particle P is at a distance from the z-axis. Origin ಇಂದ r1 distance ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ z-axis ಇಂದ r1 distance ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. Follow ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? This is very crucial. ಇದೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ. So the particle situated at P, which is having a mass m1, so it is at a distance y1 from the x-axis. The same particle is at a distance x1 from the y-axis, and the particle is at a distance r1 from the z-axis. Okay, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದು?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what we are doing is we are trying to calculate moment of inertia with respect to x-axis, with respect to y-axis, alva? So for that purpose, we are calculating moment of inertia of the first particle. Moment of inertia of the first particle with respect to x-axis. ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, moment of inertia of this particular particle, P particle m1 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಆ particle moment of inertia ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ with respect to x-axis? It is m1 y1 square. It is not m1 x1 square. It is m1 y1 square, because the particle is at a distance y1 from the x-axis. Diagram ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ P ನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ x-axis ಇಂದ y1 ಅನ್ನೋ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ moment of inertia of this particular particle situated at P from the x-axis is m1 y1 square. Similarly, moment of inertia of the same particle with respect to y-axis is very simple, m1 x1 square. Okay, now we have to do this procedure. So for not only one particle, the rigid body nalli only one particle irla, there are several particles. So therefore we are considering large number of particles having mass m1, m2, m3, etc., which are at a distance of r1, r2, r3 from the origin ಅಥವಾ z-axis ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, and they are at the distances of y1, y2, y3 from the x-axis, and they are at distances of x1, x2, x3 from y-axis. ಇದೊಂಚೂರು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ m1 ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು origin ಇಂದ r1 ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, x-axis ಇಂದ y1 ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, y-axis ಇಂದ x2 ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್, x1 ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. If you take a second particle having mass m2, so this second particle is at a distance r2 from the origin, y2 from the x-axis, x2 from the y-axis. Similarly, if you consider third particle having mass m3, then it is at a distance r3 from the origin, so then y3 from the x-axis, x3 from the y-axis. Follow ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಪ್ಪ ಇದು?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we want to calculate moment of inertia of the lamina about x-axis. Moment of inertia of the lamina about x-axis is ix. Okay, so it is equal to moment of inertia of the first particle, moment of inertia of the second particle, and so on. Moment of inertia of the first particle is m1 y1 square. Please remember x-axis ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದೀವಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ x ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ be careful, y1 ಬರುತ್ತೆ, y1 square ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, because x-axis ಗೂ ಮತ್ತೆ particle ಗೂ ಇರೋ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ y1, y2, y3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, x1, x2, x3 ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ moment of inertia of the first particle is m1 y1 square plus moment of inertia of the second particle is m2 y2 square plus moment of inertia of the third particle, and so on. So therefore, if you write it in the symbol form, summation mi yi square, I running from 1 to n ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ summation ಬರ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. So therefore, moment of inertia of the plane lamina about x-axis that is Ix is given by summation Mi Yi square. Okay, so it is possible to calculate moment of inertia of the plane lamina about y-axis also. How do you calculate moment of inertia of the plane lamina about y-axis? It is very simple. So moment of inertia with respect to y-axis is moment of inertia of the first particle m1 x1 square plus moment of inertia of the second particle m2 x2 square and so on. So that is equal to Iy is equal to summation I running from Mi xi square. Okay, na? Now we want to calculate moment of inertia of the lamina about perpendicular axis passing through O. Okay, so we want to calculate moment of inertia of the lamina about perpendicular axis passing through O means it is z axis. Z axis now calculation madbeku. So that Iz is nothing but, so first particle is at a distance of r1 from the origin, second particle is at a distance of r2, so from the origin and so on. So therefore Iz can be written as m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square etc etc. That was summation mi ri square. Okay, now see here Iz is equal to, you can see from the diagram r1 square is equal to what? What is r1 square? Can somebody say in terms of x1 square and x1 and y1? What is the value of r1 in terms of x1 and y1? Idira? So therefore, in the place of r1 square, Iz is equal to m1 plus r1 square plus m2 r2 square, etc., etc. In the place of r1 square, I am writing x1 square plus y1 square. In the place of r2 square, similarly, I can write x2 square plus y2 square, and so on. So yella x term kuda matte yella y term galna combine ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ ನೋಡಿ. It is m1 x1 square plus m2 x2 square plus m3 x3 square ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, and so on. ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಎರಡು ಟರ್ಮ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. And similarly, we have m1 y1 square ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, m2 y2 square illide, plus etc etc etc. So therefore this term can be divided into two separate terms, m1 x1 square plus m2 x2 square and so on, plus m2 y2 m1 y1 square plus m2 y2 square and so on. So what is this m1 x1 square plus m2 x2 square is? That is nothing but summation of mi xi square, and m1 y1 square plus m2 y2 square so on is summation mi iy square. So summation mi xi square is nothing but Iy agla ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೆ previous step ಅಲ್ಲಿ. See here ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಲ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. Ix is equal to mi iy square and Iy is equal to mi ix square. So this summation is nothing but Iy, but anyhow Iy second term ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. The second term summation mi iy square is Ix. So therefore Iz becomes equal to Ix plus Iy. So this is what the proof of your perpendicular axis theorem. Moment of inertia with respect to x-axis plus moment of inertia with respect to y-axis, that sum is actually equal to moment of inertia with respect to z-axis. And you should be careful, x-axis and y-axis, they should be passing through the plane. ಈ x-axis ಮತ್ತೆ y-axis ಯಾವ plane lamina ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರೋ ಅದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಅದ್ರ ಒಳಗಡೆನೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. Whereas z-axis is an axis that is actually perpendicular to both x-axis and y-axis, and all the three must be meeting at the same point. Of course, in our diagram, all the three are meeting at the same point, origin. Okay, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? So it's the second theorem of moment of inertia. It is called the theorem of parallel axis. Why it is called a parallel axis? Because we are going to consider two axes. We are going to consider two axes, and the two axes are parallel to each other. In the previous case, all the three axes were perpendicular to each other. That's why it was called perpendicular axis theorem. Here we are going to consider only two axes. ಎರಡು axes ಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಎರಡು axes ಗಳು parallel ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, you can see the diagram here. CD is one axis, AB is another axis. So what is CD? What is the orientation of CD and AB? CD ಮತ್ತೆ AB ಆತರ ಇವೆ.
Parallel.
They are parallel to each other. They are parallel to each other. That's why it is called parallel axis theorem. So parallel axis theorem is applicable when AB and CD are parallel to each other. ಎರಡು parallel ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಈಗ ಎರಡು parallel ಆಗೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Parallel ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. So that's why this is called parallel axis theorem. And out of these two axes, okay, axis. So this axis AB is actually passing through. It is actually passing through the point G. G is center of gravity. This is a rigid body. So here in this rigid body, So axis AB is passing through G. What is G? G is center of gravity. For each and every rigid body, it is possible to define a point at which the whole body balances. That is what we call it as center of gravity. So G is the position of center of gravity. Okay, na? So therefore, we are considering one axis AB that is actually passing through the rigid body through G, the center of gravity of the rigid body. Okay, and we are considering another rigid body, sorry, another axis CD, and this axis CD is parallel to AB, such that the distance between these two parallel axes, the distance h anta barkondidini. Can you see here? Small h is the distance between two parallel axes, out of which one axis is passing through center of gravity. Out of the two axes, the first one has to pass through the center of gravity. Second one elladru irbodu, no problem. But second one, first one ge parallel agirbeku. Andre center of gravity mulka pass agidile axis ge parallel agirbeku. Here we are considering the distance between the two parallel axes h. Andre O is the middle point of CD anta tagondidvi. G is the middle point AB anta tagondidvi. So between the point O and the point G, it is h, or it is also equal to distance between the two parallel axes. Okay. So in the rigid body, we are considering a point. Okay, we are considering a particle at situated at P. The rigid body nalli yavado one point P anta tagondo, a P on a point alli there is a particle, and the particle, so mass of the particle is m1, and this particle is situated at a distance x1. Okay na? So nanu theorem na statement helak hogala, first proof helbittu statement ಗೆ ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. Okay, let us see. First ಇದನ್ನ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬೇಡ, ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಡ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, we want to calculate moment of inertia with respect to CD. So we also want to calculate moment of inertia with respect to AB. ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ, AB ಮತ್ತೆ CD ಅಂತ. AB ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು moment of inertia ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, CD ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು moment of inertia ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. AB ಮತ್ತೆ CD ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ h ಇದೆ, and at point P we are considering a particle having mass m1 and it is at a distance x1 from line AB. AB line ಇಂದ point P ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ x1 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here moment of inertia of the particle m1 with respect to CD. Come back here. I want to calculate moment of inertia of this particle m1. m1 P point alli m1 anta ideyala, ee particle the moment of inertia calculate ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ. I am calculating moment of inertia of this particular particle having mass m1 from the axis CD. How do you calculate? So this particle m1 is at a distance x1 from G, and between O and G the distance is h. So what is the distance of the particle? So m1 from O in the P get distance estagutte heltira?
X plus h.
Yeah, it is x1 plus h. Okay, because I have taken it as x1. It is x1 plus h. So therefore moment of inertia of the particle situated at P from the line CD must be equal to m1 into this distance square. This distance square is nothing but x1 plus h square. That is what I have written here. Moment of inertia of m1 with respect to CD direction is m1 plus x1h whole square. Okay na? x1 plus h ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂತು? ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು with respect to first CD axis ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. With respect to CD axis ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, so ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ m1 ಅಂತ ಅದರ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ AB axis ಇಂದ x1 ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ AB ಮತ್ತೆ CD ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ h ಇದೆ. So therefore the total distance becomes x1 plus h whole square. Okay, now I am expanding, ಇದನ್ನ expand ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. m1 x1 plus h whole square is a square plus b square ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಇದೆ. It is x1 square plus h square plus 2x1h, and I am taking m1 inside, so therefore this becomes m1 x1 square plus m1 h square plus 2m1 x1h. Okay, now I don't want moment of inertia of m1, I want the moment of inertia of the entire rigid body. First ನಾನು ಈ moment of inertia of the particle P ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, but I don't want moment of inertia of this single particle, I want the moment of inertia of this entire rigid body. How do you calculate moment of inertia of the entire rigid body? It's very simple. You simply set the summation. Okay, moment of inertia of the entire rigid body about CD axis I is ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ summation ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು. It is summation m1 x1 square plus summation m1 h square plus summation of this term. 2 constant 2 ಆಚೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 2 m1 x1 h ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, now can somebody say what is this summation m1 x1 square? m1 into x1 square, what is summation m1 x1 square? What is m1 x1 square?
I.
It is moment of inertia of the particle with respect to AB axis. Now I don't want m1 x1 square, I want summation m1 x1 square. So that I have to do for each and every particle. So therefore, summation m1 x1 square must be equal to moment of inertia of the entire rigid body with respect to AB. AB is an axis that is actually passing through G, center of gravity. So therefore, that one we write it as IG. See here, if IG is the moment of inertia of the rigid body about AB, then IG is simply given by summation m1 x1 square. So E summation term alli summation m1 x1 square is nothing but moment of inertia of the rigid body with respect to AB or with respect to an axis that is passing through the center of gravity. That one we are writing it as IG. IG ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. So therefore the first term becomes IG. Okay na? ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದ ಎರಡು term ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. So I is equal to IG plus summation m1 h1 square. Summation m1 h1 square ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ. m1 h square ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ. Plus so 2 h fix ಆಗಿದೆ. h ಕೂಡ ಆಚೆ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. So 2h summation m1 x1 ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so out of these three terms, the last term summation m1 x1 is the sum of the moments of all the particles about AB passing through the center of gravity. Okay, m1 x1 is what we call it as moment of the particle anta karithivi. m1 x1 is called moment of the particle m1. Please remember, we are not doing only for a single particle, we are doing it for all the particles. That's why there is a summation. Okay, this is what we call it as summation m1 x1. This term summation m1 x1 is the sum of the moments of all the particles. Why we call it as sum of the moments of all the particles? Because the summation, there is a summation, therefore summation means it should be carried out for each and every particle. That's why it is called sum of the moments of the particles of, so about AB in with respect to this axis AB, so with respect to the point G, center of gravity. Okay, so in such a case, since the whole body is balanced about the center of gravity, so G means it is center of gravity. Center of gravity means it is a point where the whole body is balancing. Since the whole body is balancing, this summation m1 x1 is actually 0. The algebraic sum of all the moments of G is 0. Andre ee term ide nodi summation m1 x1, it actually comes out to be 0. Why this comes out to be 0? Because it is the sum of the moments. Since the whole body is balancing with respect to the, so G, the center of gravity, this summation becomes 0. So therefore the last term becomes 0. So last term 0 ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ I becomes equal to IG plus summation m1 h square, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ last term ಹೊರಟೋಯ್ತು. h square is constant, h square ಆಚೆ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. So therefore IG plus h square summation of m1. What is summation of m1? Sum of all the particles of the rigid body is, quickly,
M.
it is capital M. It is nothing but mass of the entire rigid body. It is mass of the rigid body. So therefore what we have proved is I is equal to IG plus mh square. I is equal to IG plus mh square. I is the moment of inertia with respect to CD. IG is the moment of inertia about a parallel axis, so with respect to CD, and it is passing through the center of gravity IG plus product mass of the rigid body into square of the distance between the two parallel axes. So this is what your, so parallel axis theorem. Now I can read moment of inertia of a body, rigid body, about any axis is equal to sum of its moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through center of gravity, that is IG, and the product of its mass and the square of the distance between the two parallel axes, m into h square. Okay, so the product of its mass and square of the distance. Okay, moment of inertia about, so center of gravity plus product mass of the object into square of the distance between the two parallel axes. ಹೋಯ್ತಪ್ಪ, ಇದೆಷ್ಟು ತಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಯ್ತಾ?